My name is Mira Maschmeyer. My pronouns are she, her. My experience of mental health in the workplace, is a long one. I live with ADHD, anxiety, depression, and so, of course, that's intersected with work in various ways. Both positive and negative. I think I was perceived a lot in the workplace as being a bit quirky, a bit sensitive. Thankfully, I'm also a bit of an overachiever due to the anxiety piece. So I was never, I never appeared too scattered or behind on anything. So I think that also, I was very good at masking the ADHD. So while I felt behind, everybody else felt like I was way ahead of everything. So I just seemed a little, I think, weird and odd. One thing that I always come back to in terms of what a mentally healthy workplace looks like, I think we work too much. And I don't want to sound too millennial or Gen Z by saying that. But I think the studies that have come out on 4-day work weeks really speak for themselves in terms of the necessity of how much time that we spend at work. I think we need to decrease that. I don't think that we need to be working this much all of the time in order to maintain our productivity. And the science also supports that. If you put your employees first, then they don't have to put themselves first. And that frees up room for them to put your customers first, right? So that can look like things like living wages, right? Like making accommodations, policies around bullying and harassment, anything having to do with the National Psych and Health and Safety Standard that the CMHA Alberta teaches so much about, right? Ensuring workloads are reasonable, that's huge, right? I know that can be a really touchy subject, but take a look at your business model. Are your staff working themselves to the bone and you're not profiting enough to pay them properly or to hire additional staff? You need to take a look at that because it's inherently unethical, right? It's like exposing your workers to harsh chemicals every day and saying, oh no, we don't have enough money to buy them PPE, so I guess we'll just have to suffer, right? That's unacceptable. And when in doubt, ask your employees what they need for a mentally healthy workplace. They'll tell you and they're probably right. So follow through on their suggestions. Follow through is so important. You can't just keep asking them what they need and then not doing anything about it. I think that's what I've seen the most, where it's hey, look, we want to have a healthy workplace. What do you need? And then they say, oh, I need this. And they go, no. But then they don't really give any reasons, right? If you can't be honest with them about why, honesty really goes a long way. When you hide information from your employees, they'll fill in the blanks with something likely much worse than the truth, right? So trust them to be able to handle that truth and have a dialogue with them about it. The next generation that's coming into the workforce, they grew up with more language around mental health than ever before. They really truly impress me with that, and I'm jealous, honestly. I wish that I had grown up with the same kind of understanding that they do, and I think it's resulted in a lower tolerance for psychologically unhealthy environments as a result. I do have hope in the direction that we're moving in, and we do have to we have to continue fighting this good fight for our mental health at work and being the change that we want to see.